Now let's talk about containers for the fall and winter deck. And in this particular case, you may remember I planted this up last spring with the rhododendron and the Viburnum davidii and the different foliage colors. And to bring it up onto the deck at this time of the year really adds a lot of color, even though there's not much in bloom. Now on the other hand, this is a container that I also planted earlier, and you'll notice this is the Sanguine Camellia that blooms during the winter and the fern down here, but I also added the Variegated Pinocchio Hebe here, and then also some winter flowering pansies, and then over on the sides here some flowering kale and flowering cabbage. So we've taken a container that was planted for one season and now have planted it for another season. And that's basically what I'm going to do with this container here. You can see that it had the summer flowering Pansy Geranium-Martha Washington, a little bit of Dusty Miller, and there's even a Primrose here in the front coming into bloom. So now let's change seasons and add a little bit of fall and winter color to it. And I'm going to take, first of all, this flowering kale, actually it's a flowering cabbage in this case, and loosen the roots a little bit. This is wet, believe it or not, but it's just so dense with root system. And we'll dig a little hole here, kind of between the Dusty Miller and the Primrose, being sure not to cover the Primrose at all. And then in the center here, I'm going to add a few pansies, and notice that I'm using light color. In fact, colors. Notice I also picked a cabbage that was light in color. The reason being is that during the winter, the light colors really show up the most and the best in any planting. So we'll just add a winter flowering pansy there, and I'm going to also add one of the small blue flowering winter pansies. Actually, it's more of a viola than a pansy. We'll just add that right in there. And then for a little deeper color, because we do have the red back here in the background and the Dusty Miller foliage, I'll add a little bit lighter color here, or darker color, excuse me. And you can see already we're changing this from a planter that was beautiful in summertime to one now that'll be nice in the fall and during the winter season as well. And I'm going to plant the flowering kale then next. Boy, again, they are just so compact. You want to be sure to loosen them so they can go into that surrounding soil. Dig a hole here and put that in. And see, we've converted that container in a very short period of time to a nice colorful container that's going to give us fall and winter color. Even the Primrose will continue to flower for a longer period of time. So take out a few minutes and brighten up those containers in your yard too.